What's up, guys? This is FocusedMotion doing a video, heads up video, which is a MPT final table heads up freeze out between BigStock1974 and me, FocusedMotion. If you look on the upper left hand corner, you'll see it's the $2 heads up freeze out. And the neat thing is, the top three, first, second, and third, were all part of the BetOnDrew.com bod squad or players. Pretty neat. So what I'll be doing is just basically going through the hands that Big Stock and I played, and kind of giving my analysis. And yeah, let's see if you guys dig it. So my strategy for playing Big Stock is pretty much playing it kind of cautious. We really don't know much of his play per se. I haven't really seen him play heads up much, and I know prior to this that he was in the sit and goes double or nothing arena and was getting into the MPT field. So what I did know was that he's pretty comfortable with push fold ranges, but I wasn't quite sure how it'd be heads up. And also, given the fact that I haven't played online poker in a while and I just started getting back into it, just led me to do the cautious style. So you'll see that being me, where I'm kind of cautious in the beginning, and towards the end I kind of open up and employ the push fold strategies and so forth. So without any further ado, let's take a look. Got 10-4 offsuit on the button. Ordinarily my buttons, I'd be raising pretty much like 90% of my buttons, but I chose to in the early stages play it a little cautious, kind of get a feel for Big Stock and see how his play is. So I elected to fold that. Big Stock raises, not a full 3x, but close to it. And I decided a flat with Queen 5 suited just to see the board and see how he played, kind of get some information. So he checked back to me. We both checked the flop, and when the 6 comes off, I really don't think he has a 6 here. I think he would have bet a huge range of 6s here, and don't really quite put him on an ace. So when he bets that kind of a bet, it could be on a draw, pick up a draw. Now when he makes it the flush, it looks like he makes the flush. I still think my hand is good, but when he bets half pot, I definitely want to see how he's doing this. So I either can call here, fold obviously, or I elect to raise here because I want to represent a draw of my own because I called on the 6 diamond. So here I'm looking to get some value, it seems like I am trying to do. And I was kind of a level thinking I was trying to do was to kind of induce him to fold. And he ends up calling with an ace, which is not bad. Yeah, I was trying to represent the flush, but he went ahead and called. King 9 suited, definitely gonna be opening the button, and my buttons are gonna be pretty much in either min raise or 2.2, 2.3x raise, and that would be consistent. Here I decided to fire onto the mid pair that I've had with a decent kicker, and I also show. And when I showed, it's only because this was going to be an educational video, and I also wanted to give Big Stock, show them what I had. But ordinarily, when I'm playing heads up, I don't do that, and so just to let you guys know, I don't think you should be doing that anyway because it gives information away. Here we get a checked flop. I bet out half, and I hit the turn, so I bet that out. Take some initiative. Again, I show, and kind of let Big Stock know that I'm, just showing really. For anything else, not really trying to advertise anything, just kind of showing because it is a friendly match, so to speak. So here, Big Stock raises my min raise. I decided to flat. I'm not really too happy with that flat. I think that's a fold or a raise, not a call. And Big Stock leads out, and I decide to. I think I fold here, but yeah, if I'm going to take that call in position line, I could definitely raise that C bet on the flop, but I elected to fold, so I wasn't really happy with that play. Fold on offsuit, obviously checking, probably giving up here, not really get too crazy. So far, in the match, it seems like Big Stock shows aggression when he wants to, which is perfectly fine. Yeah, it looks like he's not taking the passive route. So it really jumped out at me that he's being really aggressive, and that was kind of like took me a little bit by surprise. So here, queen. Obviously, I'm betting with the flush draw too. Half pot. He decides to fold. Yeah, I think I show some cards. I don't show some other cards, but ordinarily I don't show because yeah, advertising is not good. As you can see, another tournament popped up with a 3K that I was playing as well. So min raise on the button, 83 offsuit, pretty standard. He checks. I don't like to check back there. I think the only reason why I checked back there was because I thought that queen 10-4, that queen 10 hit his range somewhat, but I like to fire out pretty much always any flop that you on the button with that you raise pre-flop. I think you should always be c betting, and here ace high is not good, so I'm just gonna give up. So yeah, and that kind of shows how I haven't played in a long time. I would like to bet the flop because you really the key thing is position is so critical, and you got to utilize it to your advantage. King queen here, I like to check and see a flop, kind of disguise the strength of my hand, and so I hit the king. Of course, I'm floating the flop, and I think Big Stock bets out here. He does, and yeah, I don't mind the bet here. He could have draws here, but I mean, I think what happens if I just call here and I check the river, he's gonna check back almost always. So I'm trying to get some sort of value here, and you could argue that I would donk out the river, but that's fine too either way. 10-4 fold. I mean, as you can see right now, Big Stock has a decent chip stack compared to mine, so in a good spot. Here I like to 3-bet 10-9 suited, pretty good hand to get involved with. You can flop pretty well. And also I want to introduce 3-betting out of position, but not so often, so my range is not so out there. So there's a lot of respect factor in there. So I'll go ahead and lead out. I think if I check this flop, Big Stock can check back. So I don't want any draws to come around. So leading out here is fine, and I think you should be doing that anyway. When you 3-bet out of position, you should lead out almost always. Standard raise on the button, and my buttons raises have been consistent. It's only min raising, so that's just pretty straightforward. Yeah, it's important, guys. When you do heads up, you want to keep your range or your bet sizing really consistent, because I think you can pick up bet sizing tells a lot easier when you're heads up with someone, because it's only that one person you're playing against. So it's critical to keep your raises the same. I think your continuation bets the same. You know, your 3-bet sizing the same. So yeah, that's important. So I got a 4 on that flop. I'm not really going anywhere, and that 10 doesn't really do any difference. So he bets out. Good chance I'll call. I do call, and he hits a 10. Yeah. So that's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Jack 10 offsuit. Of course, I'm raising the button. And not quite sure what Big Stock meant by that, so, but I think maybe he thought I was trapping, probably. Here, I pick up a gutter. In that spot there, I don't mind raising actually. When he leads out, I would like to raise. Because you picked up a draw, you have always to the board, and you know you're giving yourself fold equity there. So I would like a better, instead of flatting that button on the turn, I'd like a raise. Ace 8, I check my ace. Again, deception. You really won't see me. You won't really won't see me three betting a lot of aces out of position. Yeah, I think a lot of hands that you'll see me three bet are like the 10-9 suited pairs, stuff like that. And of course, I hit middle pair, and he could easily be on a draw here. He bets less than half. Now, when the jack comes off on the river, I really don't put him on a jack, and I think my eights are good here. And when he bets kind of big too, and that, in a sense, makes me believe that he's trying to push me off the hand. It's kind of a bigger bet than normal. So, all things considering, that led me to a call. And yeah, he shows 8-4. Yeah, what that helped out. That jack on the river helped out a lot. It's really unlikely for him to have that jack. He could easily have an 8, like a weaker 8, like 8-7, 8-6, you know. And yeah, so it made it a lot easier for me to call. So I'm gonna pause it until we get into the next after the break. Okay, it looks like we're back from break. So blind at 1530. Limp by big stock. Checked option with a 4-5 offsuit. And one thing you also got to be aware of, and I don't think I was really doing much with it, and the big stock probably picked up on a couple things there, is my timing tells. And I think, especially when you're heads up, not only the bet sizing tells, you have to really be careful about your bet sizing. You have to also take into consideration your timing tells, because again, it's only one person you're playing against, and so the speed of your decisions oftentimes tells the opponent the strength of your hand, or where what you're thinking. So you really got to make sure you keep everything consistent. So the two top things I would tell a person who wanting to learn how to play heads up is to really work on your timing tells, keep it consistent, and also your bet sizing tells. Keep your bet sizing consistent. Big stock raises again. And Jack 4 offsuit, I'm just letting it go. 6-7 suited, raising. Definitely a weird board, but you know what? The funny thing is, if a board looks scary to you, it probably looks scary to your opponent. So you definitely should bet. And I think when he calls here, I think he has some sort of hand that definitely has showdown value, has me crushed, and that he would call the turn and river bet. Essentially because of the fact that the queen paired the turn. It's less unlikely for me to have a queen. So yeah, so basically the one shot give up kind of deal. Ace 9-0. I know I said I don't really 3-bet that much with aces, and there are exceptions. One exception would be given that I haven't 3-bet in a while, and I'll 3-bet because I want to keep up the appearance. And also, sometimes your ace acts as a blocker, so it's less likely the person has an ace. So big stock decided to jam here. I give it up. I mean, that showed extreme strength. I decided to say, you know what, you can take it. But again, that was my thought process. You know, I need to make sure I 3-bet out of position. It's a somewhat set amount, so my 3-bets get credit, but at the same time, they can create the illusion that I'm three betting wild, a little crazy with a wide range with like many different hands, which is not necessarily the case for a certain set of hands. So it's pretty standard open and bet out the flop there. Big stock raises again. Here, I think I thought about a call, but in the end, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna three bet again because again, with heads up play, you definitely want to. The key, and one of the key concepts also is you want to be aggressive, keep up the aggression, especially when you're out of position. That's so critical. And here I did check because I just, I don't want to put any more money in the pot. If we can get the showdown, I'm happy. And I call really quickly on the turn with the 10 because I don't think he has anything there, and I think I pull it up there too because yeah, I felt like he had a draw, and yeah, it showed up at the draw. The 9-10 jack. The reason what I'm trying to say is with that one pot, and let me I'll backtrack real quick on that one so I can see what I'm trying to talk about here. Let's go back here a little bit. When I three bet out of position and the flop comes 9-10 jack, when Big Stock calls me pre-flop, my three bet, his range against that flop is pretty draw heavy, if not hit the flop. So when he elects to call the three bet in position and that flop 9-10 jack comes off, I'm thinking that it really puts a lot of drawing ranges in his range, drawing hands in his range. It really puts. I mean, he'd easily have a 9 or a 10 at that point at the flop there. Maybe even a jack, right? But my thing is, let's, I think I passed it a little bit here. Okay, let's stop it right here. So if you look right here, the pot's 450. If I bet out into the pot, it'd be like 200 something, right? If he likes to call me there, it's gonna be like around 800 something, close to 900 something, and almost roughly a little bit more than pot size bet left for my stack, right? So we elect to check it back, right? But let's say we didn't check it back. Let's say I bet he calls. Now this is an awkward spot here because I'm not quite sure what to do. I do like the fact that the board paired a 10, which makes it less likely for him to have a 10. But at the same token, it kind of handcuffs me, and either I make a hero call for my chips or I fold, given the fact that if I bet into the flop and he calls. Because what happens is now the flop's going to be like 850 or so. I check, and he's going to bet out the turn, right? Rightfully so. If I check that turn, he should be betting that turn nearly 100% of the time. So anyway, let's say he bets the flop, right? Bet the turn, so it'll be like around 850 or so. So he probably bets around half pot or so, 400 something or so, right? So it's like, why would I call a turn bet like that? And I mean, it just wouldn't make any sense. It'd be basically like I'm just bleeding chips away. So basically what I'm trying to say is, calling the turn in an inflated pot like that, if it was like 800 something, would be kind of like just donating chips. So in other words, you would actually either fold or shove, if that makes any sense. Because it's less unlikely he has a 10, more likely he has a draw, and the very fact that the club comes off, it could be that he had the club draw. But again, I also have a club blocker. So I mean, it all depends. And so I decide to check, and then of course on the turn I'm going to call it because less likely I'm a 10. And all along thinking that I have good showdown value here too as well. So of course I call, and that five didn't change much. And to be honest, guys, if he did decide to bet the river, I'd probably call too. I wouldn't like it, but I'd call because it's very drawy. It's a very likely chance he has a draw, and a good chance he has a draw. But yeah, so and he did. Yeah. Jack 9-0. He min raises. And see, here's the thing. Now he's starting to switch it up a little bit. And this is why I'm trying to tell you guys about the bet sizing. You notice in the beginning of the earlier rounds, he was raising more than half pot. as his opening range, opening raise. In this scenario, he's actually min raising now, and I'm thinking of doing that in relation to the blinds itself. However, in essence, I'd like to keep everything consistent, because when you keep everything consistent, you basically are disguising your range. The A30 I opened, and then he raised it pretty big. I decided to fold. I'm not a big fan of ace weak kickers, so that's a fine fold by me. I don't mind that. Again, here I'm electing to disguise my ace. That queen queen 5 board doesn't hit anyone. That 7 really doesn't hit anyone either. And that 3 very harmless. I'm gonna be calling a river bet. And yeah, so yeah, ace high pretty much good there, pretty much always. Min raise my ace deuce. Should be betting out half pot here again. And I think sometimes when you see a little timing, it's because I'm working the other tournament too as well. So you got to be aware of that too as well. Because if you're multi-tabling, how did that affect your opponent's perceptions of your timing, right? So BigStock decided to raise, and I just let it go. You could argue for a check back on that flop to try to see a free turn, but I wanted to keep the aggression up. 3-6-0. I'm just gonna be check giving up. Yeah, really not interested in this hand at all. And BigStock starts taking around. Yeah, and that's good. Ace 8 offsuit. Min raising. Hit my ace. Again, I should be betting half pot here. BigStock decides to lead out, which is kind of unusual. It almost feels like it's a blocker. Like he wants to see a showdown, but he wants to take the lead versus me take the lead. So, he decided to bet out 220. I'm perfectly fine for letting him bet. I believe I had the best hand here always. And with that jack on the river though, it kind of murky, kind of hairy. But I don't see myself folding here. I believe I call here. I believe I call. I don't put him on a king at all here. Oh, interesting. What did I say? Value bet. Huh. Yeah, I got a call. Don't like it. And I believe I do call, and I believe BigStock does show a king. Let's see. Yeah. I said value bet. That's interesting. Yeah. Yeah, you know what's interesting? When you call out the hand correctly, or call out the scenario correctly, but yet you still call, which is kind of funny. But you know, it is what it is. So yeah, as you can see, BigStock has been playing fairly consistent. He's been steadily chipping up, and my stack has been pretty much steadily in the 1K range or so. So yeah, not bad at all. But I'm fairly comfortable. I mean, we have about 20 bigs, or I do, and I'm not worried at all. The blinds coming up, it's going to be 10 big blinds effective if you have 1,000. If you look on the upper left hand corner, you'll see that the blinds will be going up to 5,100. And so, given my stack, yeah, easy 3-bet get it all in with my king 9 offsuit against his open. His opening can be so wide, so my king 9 should fare well against his opening ranges. Queen 10. Let's see how he does. I get it in again. What I'm trying to do here now is I'm trying to introduce my push range, my push fold scenario. Trying to get him to understand what I'm doing, and so kind of get him comfortable with what I'm doing, and actually uncomfortable too, because if he knows that I'm going to be pushing a wide range or pushing in general, his opening will be affected dramatically. So he won't be opening a lot of buttons because it's like almost like, okay, if I open this button, is FocusedMotion going to shove on me? So that was my thing, and that was my thought process. He opened my ace-9 offsuit, getting it in about 14 big blinds. Just trying to really amp up the aggression and really, and also just say, hey, if you try to play back at me, I'm gonna play for chips most often than not. So it's just basically trying to get into a higher gear. 6-7 offsuit, gonna go ahead and pretty much check fold this, and yeah, not really much of interest to me. Too coordinated flop. I don't have any piece of that. I could decide to raise, check raise, but again, it's not a very good board to check raise. King 10 offsuit, really the bottom of my range of shoving there, definitely because of the two kicker. But we are, in the 12, 15 big blind range, so we definitely want to make sure we're treading water, we're staying afloat, and not dwindling down so we have no fold equity whatsoever. King 7 offsuit, again, just trying to show my aggression, trying to get aggressive with him. 10-9, spades. I would like a 3-bet here. 3-bet, here's what I'd like, a 3-bet, then get it in on the flop. So like a stop and go. But I like to just, I think to check this down. He bets 100. I have a flush draw plus a gutter. I think I'm calling here a lot. And I miss. I wouldn't mind a check raise on the turn, to be honest. And that bet looks really weak, but it also looks like he wants, I mean, polarized. He either wants a call or he wants a fold. And I just fold it. Yeah. Either really had it or he didn't have it. Like one of those weird small bets. He min raises the button, 6-5 offsuit. I think right now I'm pausing because I'm on another tournament, but let it go. 5-4 offsuit. I'm gonna let it go. King 4 offsuit. He limps on the button. I'm just gonna stick it in. Pretty much just trying to take advantage of that. Although it'd be kind of curious because he limped the button there. So what's his range? Basically, you would ask yourself, what's his range for limping buttons versus opening buttons? Because it's fairly easy to open buttons, right? Just min raise or whatever. But you're limping is just kind of a weird thing. It's like a sign of weakness almost, but then again, it could be a sign of strength. So what exactly is Big Stock doing that with, right? He min raised the button here. I like to get it in with my ace-5, pretty standard. And he time banks, or he tanks it for a minute. And I show my ace. Again, I wouldn't do this normally. I'd show my ace only because of Big Stock and very fact that he's a BODer. Just plain nice. Jack 3 suited. I'm not quite sure, honestly, why I limped this button here. I'm not a big fan of that, especially when you're kind of short on chips. Big Stock elects to raise out of position, which he hasn't really done much against the limp. So I like to fold it, which was interesting. I mean, I really don't like my play there. Ace Jack suited. I would imagine Big Stock opens here. Oh, he doesn't. He limps. I try to get it in. Fold. You could argue for a deception, like just check the flop, right? Really try to trap. I mean, that's something you can do too. Switch gears. I wouldn't fault that. It's a Big Stock fold. And see, that's another good way to get your opponent to fold buttons, is to show that if they limp or raise, that you'll stick it in. You'll stick your stack in. So they're less likely to try to do that to you, if that makes any sense. So it kind of handcuffs them a little bit, right? Which is what you want too, especially if you're short stack. You don't want them to keep on pounding at you, because that's not cool, because you're not going to be able to fight back, right? So one way to fight back and to really leverage your chips is to just show that you're willing to get it in pre-flop. against a limp button or a raise button. Here, I'm folding, not calling. Fours, get it in. 14 bigs, get it in. Queen 9, he folds. Ace King, obvious, get it in. Fold. He raises, fold here. Queen 5 suited, stick my stack in, he folds. Yeah, it just shows. It looks like I'm being really aggressive now, and that's what my game plan was kind of going to be for the match itself, was to be playing somewhat tight, trying to feel my opponent out, and then really amp up the aggression later on in the later stages. But yeah, but give Big Stock credit because he really fought back hard. And here I tried to trap, but he didn't go for it. And yes, yeah. Fold Queen 6-0. Pretty standard. Fold there. King 3 suit, offsuit folded. Suited probably jam it. Get my King 9 offsuit in against his limp. You know, I was kind of worried, a little bit paranoid, because Big Stock was limping and folding to my shove, so I was anticipating a potential limp with a strong hand from Big Stock, and yeah, but fortunately, I don't think that was the case. Here, I'd like to try something different. I felt like Big Stock was really tightening up his calling ranges against my shoves, so I really want to introduce a different variation. And as you can see, this one particular hand didn't really pan out very well. Yeah, I mean, if you look there, that bet's pretty big, because he's really saying he has something good. And if not, kudos to him. But yeah, he's showing that he's willing to play for that. He bet out pretty big, pretty significant. 8-9. I'm pretty sure getting this in. Yeah, again, your stack sizes really dictate what you want to do. Not necessarily the card itself, but definitely what you should be doing. Now, pretty much the starting stack is uh, 15 big blinds. So here I get lucky. Unfortunately for Big Stock, I caught my 4 on the turn. And he gets queens here. And I think the next hand, yeah, and this is it. So, yeah, kudos to Big Stock. He played it really well. I felt like he was trying to be very cautious with me in some areas, but also show the propensity not to just lay down and wait for me to just run him over. So sometimes as you can see, you need to be able to win some key flips later in late stages of a matchup to win. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was fun doing the heads up match, and also fun doing this video as well. So make sure you guys definitely check us out on Facebook, on our Facebook page, Bet on Drew, and also our group page, Bet on Drew, on Facebook. And definitely check us out on betondrew.com. If you're not a member, please register as a member. You'll be enrolled in certain free rolls and monthly drawings and all that good stuff. And you'll be able to post on the forums, and we'll respond to your forums as soon as we can. And yeah, it's a great site, so definitely check it out. Alright guys, this is FocusedMotion. Have a great day.